Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CBO TV. The Charles Johnson Summer League is right around the corner, and to kick off our interview series, we're going to start with Reinaldo Prieto, the league's only 4-year longest tenured player. Ray, is it a little bittersweet to hear that? And welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
How we doing, Antonio? I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a little bittersweet. Sounds like I'm getting up there in age, but embracing what comes with being an old man, a veteran, I guess.
That's right, the vet to the league, the oldest player in the league, all 4 years. You started out with the league up in Fort Pierce. Now it's back down here in South Florida. Um, Tell us a little bit about your journey in the Charles Johnson Summer League and what it's been like to see the league grow.
Yeah, the first year in Fort Pierce was such a nice experience. Honestly, it was the changing of the fields. It was beautiful. Those fields were so well kept. Honestly, it was very well kept, well maintained. Everything was well ran. I was a big fan of just the play pool, how competitive things were, and like that's what kept me coming back to where it's just been year after year. It's kind of come back and you build a culture now. You start playing against these guys in college and you see them and you're like, hey man, I remember you from the Panthers, or I remember you from the Tide,
Right.
and start building connections through that. That's the most beautiful part of it, honestly.
So 4 years, like we said, give us some of your best experiences in the league.
Winning that championship the first year was there's nothing like a championship. There's nothing like a championship. Winning that championship the first year, especially I got to do it with a lot of the guys I went to college with. It was
Mhm.
a super fun experience, especially as a younger guy. I was a rookie back then. I was my first year in college. I was super deer in the headlights. It was a super fun experience. The whole league last year was super fun. The way that we came in and I came back with the Panthers. That team with the Panthers is such a special group of guys, special personalities. So just a
Yeah.
few to talk about.
So yeah, you're one of the few guys as well that's kind of I don't want to say bounce around, but you've been on two teams. So you've kind of had two different experiences. You got to see two different dugouts. And you were actually what I was told is that you were going to take a little break, and then Mario called you up personally and wanted you to be kind of the anchor of the ship in the Panthers dugout. You know, he viewed you as such a leader that he wanted you to kind of be the captain role. Tell me a little bit about that, what it was like to join a new team, and like you said, you had to leave some of your friends on the beach bums.
Yeah. That was a real transitional year for me. I lost my father that year through college ball, like right around the springtime, and I lost my best friend. So going through that and just finding baseball to where I was wanting to take a mental break, but I ended up just like Mario said, when you come in to fill a role like that, like how Mario set it up for me, it's tough to say no to that, especially after the situation I was in. And I thought it was the most fitting, best possible situation to come into. Just turn the team around and we did exactly that. We went to the
Right.
semifinals. We were an out away from the championship, and it was tough to leave a few guys behind. But that's college baseball. I've learned to, especially 4 years at the same school. I've learned to take things with a grain of salt. These guys come and go.
So yeah, so you go to the Panthers and you really do turn the organization around. It was a team that really didn't have a lot of direction before you came. And then like you said, you make it to the semifinals the past 2 years. Tell me a little bit about that, what it was like to be the captain. Was it a different role for you? Was it something you're used to? Was it natural, or did you have to kind of learn how to be a leader?
I feel like it's always been instilled in me to be a leader. My boisterous ways are a bit different sometimes, and my leadership comes out in different ways. But that year especially made me mature into what I would say is the leader that I've been able to showcase myself in Florida Memorial and take things on as that, because that year really gave me an example of how it is to do things and how it is to really manage so many different personalities in terms of helping coach and really being a guy that coaches run into and be like, hey, tell him to do this, or hey, why don't we focus on this? Why don't we move the infield this way? Certain things like that. That was a role that I was very blessed to step into. And it was an opportunity that honestly I'm very thankful to Mario, very thankful to Tony for putting me in those shoes and trusting me.
So now, after you have all that experience, you're taking it all back to the beach bums. You're linking up with your old team. How does it
So
feel? What's changing? Are you excited? Is there going to be a different kind of demeanor to you now that you're coming back as an older guy? What changes? What stays the same? And what are you excited for?
I definitely say it's a little bit. I'm more mature now. It's not as much of the hoorah stuff that I feel like we had to get into sometimes to make a name or turn a franchise around, like we were talking about earlier. But
Mhm.
I really think that just stepping back in terms of the coach that I'm playing for, Coach Garcia, Coach Panda, is somebody that I've had the pleasure of playing with as a teammate, and I've had the pleasure to play for and win a championship, multiple championships now with. And it's honestly a blessing that I feel like, if anything, I'm playing with a lot less pressure on my shoulders to where I can go ahead and hand that off to somebody else and I'm playing freely.
So tell me a little bit about Florida Memorial. Obviously, a big connection to the beach bum, stuff like that. What's it like, and how beneficial is it to you and to the team in general to have such a connection, to be able to play all spring, all fall, and then take it to summer? You guys kind of have a team that's already really connected heart to heart. How does that help on the field?
Yeah, that's a big part that honestly as a collegiate program, I feel like my 4 years we got to be very thankful to the CBO because and Charles Johnson and all of that and Mario because it's honestly something that's grown the chemistry of the team. I would say my first year that team chemistry grew so much on the beach bums because it was guys that were brand new to each other in college, but grew so familiar. And you've been a part of it. You know how that energy is a lot different. You really grow tight with guys because it's a brotherhood out there. It's
Right.
honestly just a brotherhood. Even when you're on different teams, it's a brotherhood. So
Yeah.
that fondness of each other is something that's just you can't force that. That's something that it's summer baseball, especially at the CBO, has been very monumental to us as a team, especially at Flomo. But that personal connection that you're supposed to build with your teammates, I believe, is what leads to success. And there's nothing better than that to do in the summer.
And obviously the Bums have been successful. Championships
Absolutely.
all 3 years. What do you think, other than the championships, other than the winning, what do you think has been the most important part that has helped the Beach Bums team? Because something about the program is that they bring back, you guys do a great job of recruiting former players and kind of running the same team back.
Yeah.
Other than the championships, like I said, what do you think is kind of the key to that as well?
I think it's a lot of leadership in terms of last year they had my teammate Ulysses Rodriguez where he took that leadership role like I had on the Panthers and it was something that they just went ahead and ran with the recruiting stuff and I would say recruiting because kind of recruiting guys from one team to the other and that's just something that the culture has been built on good guys coming back and meshing and even when I was playing on the Panthers those guys were like you're scared to play us you want to play over here because it's a bit of a camaraderie you just build. Like I was saying with that summer ball, it's the trust and the personality of the team as a whole is something that just comes together.
So now I want to switch a little bit toward the more personal side, in terms of you. What is Reinaldo's Prieto's goal for the summer?
I look at every summer as the opportunity to get better and get as as many at bats and as much time on the field as possible because there's nothing better to grow yourself as an athlete and to play freely as the summer. Like we all used to look forward to summer ball since we were kids, just being able to play loose, let the kids have fun and being able to play out there. And I feel like that's a lot of the energy that goes back to what we were just talking about the beach bumps. Everybody wants to go out there and play free, play loose, have a good time. The coaching is great. It's not much to complain about on that side.
Right. Do you feel like this summer is different than when you first started in the league? Do you have a
Yeah,
different feeling going into this summer?
yeah, absolutely. I definitely feel like going back to what we were talking about being a veteran, it's just carry yourself a different way. You've been there for 4 years. I know a lot of the umpires personally at this point. I know a lot of the
Mhm.
coaches personally at this point. Something that come in there with a bit of a different look to you. You got to come in there more matured and more composed. Certain things can't get to you. That's how I see it personally.
Okay, I got a big question for you. Who has the
Shoot,
best beard in the Charles Johnson Summer League? Is it
I
Ray Prieto?
biasly I have to say myself, but there was a catcher on the tie last year, Dominican dude, swinger, slugger. He had a good one
He had
too.
a good beard.
He had a good beard. It was competitive.
Is that a big thing for you? You keeping it maintained? I mean, I
Yeah,
can
that's
see you maintain it very nice.
it's a part of the Dion. You look good, play good, feel good, all that. You got the stash going on. You know what it is. You look good, you feel good. That's
Right,
simple. It generates to the field.
right, right, right. Well, that's awesome. as a team, what's kind of been the talk in the locker room and the dugout? Three in a row, guys kind of have a target on your back in terms of people circling their schedules. I know we have you guys circling our schedule. It's opening day. We're ready to rock and roll and try to beat the beach bums. How do you take that pressure? How do you handle it? What's kind of like been the word in the dugout?
As far as from the guys, I know that everybody's just super excited to look forward to the season and to how everything's shaping as far as the team. But it's the same energy that we've had in years prior, and the energy that I've faced the beach bumps on the other side. It's just a we're better than you energy. It's we already have three rings. You got to beat us. At the end of the day, the championship is us and somebody else. That's how we feel.
What do you think it takes to win the fourth one this year? What will be the X factor?
I think it all comes down to pitching at the end of the day and consistent defense. Consistent defense and pitching wins ball games. Slugging is slugging. We always gonna have a few bats, but defense and pitching wins ball games. Especially in the CBO, we have a lot of boppers. Everybody can hit. It comes down to the pitching and the defense side, and I feel like that's where we're very solid. At least we have been in the past few years, even playing on the other side of them. It was
Mhm.
tough because hit some balls hard right at people, and you got the shortstop making a diving play, the third baseman making a diving play, first baseman jumping and catching. It's a tough inning. You got three hard hit balls, three outs.
Right. I agree. It's gonna be tough to go for four, but I mean it's been the talk about the team, and it seems like you guys are really ready to do it again and put together a really good team, it seems like, to make that stride for four.
Yeah, that's all kudos to Coach Panda and Charles and Coach Cheeky. They've done a great job putting guys together, and that goes back to the culture of the team and the organization. You just build around guys that want to be there and guys that want to give it their all to that team, and nothing's more important than getting a championship. I know that's how Panda feels at the end of the day. Nothing's more
Mhm.
important than getting a championship.
How important is it to you to win one in your final year of the league?
There's nothing more important to me than honestly coming out with a piece of hardware, especially a second ring in a CBO would be beautiful to me. And it means that much more to me that I'd be going out on that ring. Like I know like that's my last college year and I went out on a ring. Year at college I've been in 4 years. I want to go out with a ring as well. Been in the same summer league for 4 years. I want to go out with a ring, same way I started.
Absolutely. That's always the goal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ray, if
So
the
this is
fans
just
want to find you, where can they find you on social medias?
everything is Ray Prieto 18, REY Prieto 18.
You have any final thoughts before we go?
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that open day. Looking forward to facing you guys. Looking forward to facing the Panthers out of old boy on there. Looking
Absolutely.
forward to the start of the league, bro. That's it.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to catch the game one of the Charles Johnson Summer League, it's going to be right here, broadcasted live on CBO-TV. First pitch is set for 1 o'clock. Coverage should begin about 15 to 20 minutes before the game. Again, you can catch all the live coverage of the defending Beach Bums taking on the Fort Lauderdale Cobras here on CBO-TV. Ray, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to sign off. Ladies and gentlemen,
Absolutely.
have a great night. Thank you, Ray.
Have a good one, brother. Thank you.